You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Andy Smith.
And I'm Tim Fulton.
This is What Do You Got?
What do you got?
What do you got? We each bring a topic to the table. Just bullshit about it for a little bit. Tim's up first.
I am.
What is your topic?
Food shaming.
Food shaming. Oh, I know all about this.
So I bring this up because whenever Andy puts anything close to his mouth, someone out there will...
A lot of people, actually.
A lot of people. It like literally he'll be alone and someone will pop out of a closet and be like, what are you doing?
It's an absurd amount of people.
Absurd amount of people.
Yeah.
And
People
I'm
I
not
work
talking
with,
food shaming like,
friends.
oh, you're eating unhealthy. Food shaming like, why do you eat your burger like that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Last night. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Why do you eat your burger without cheese?
I don't understand that.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it. Like, I'm totally up for the ball busting. I'm not like, I like it. I like the ball busting aspect of it.
But there's levels, right? And we've seen it transition
Yeah.
from ball busting, like, because there are people who do weird shit.
Yes.
There are people who are like, oh, I love pickles on my hot dog. And you're just like, that's the weirdest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
You weirdo.
You weirdo.
But then you let them live their life. But there are certain people who just can't let go. And I got to give them credit because you have a weird ass diet, dude.
I do.
And you like food in a very odd way.
I do. I like it. I'm one of the more plain eaters. And I think I've been thinking about this more and more because it's been coming up more and more. Like, even like at work and sometimes I just like, it's just, I never heard anyone get so much scrutiny for what they eat. I think it has to do with two things. It has to do with the amount that I eat, first of all.
Astronomically
That
high.
gets like the attention going. Right?
Because people just look and they're like, what is happening?
Yeah. But then
Make him stop.
it's also, it's not just how I prepare it. I think it's the fact that it doesn't bother me that bothers people.
Because, like, you'll eat food that other people will look at and be like, oh, that would be a burden.
That would go in the garbage.
That would go in the garbage. And you're like, this is fine.
Yes. That, because I noticed, like, one of the guys I work with busts my balls. He's like, how do you eat, what do you put on your eggs? And I'm like, salt and like a little bit of seasoning, garlic seasoning, whatever. Like, not a lot. He's like, you want some cheese for it? I'm like, no, I don't like cheese on the eggs. And he's just like, what the like, what do you mean you don't like cheese on eggs? I'm like, I can't eat as many eggs if I put cheese on them. It makes it feel heavy in my stomach. I'm like, I don't like cheese on the eggs. But saying that sentence is like you just committed like a crime. And you're like, you can't say that. You're not allowed to not like cheese on your eggs. You cannot prefer eggs with no cheese over eggs with cheese.
So I've seen this firsthand with you specifically multiple times. And like, I get where people come from. Because, like, when he says, like, I don't put cheese on my eggs, y'all folks at home are thinking he's having 3 eggs and, like, maybe a little toast.
No, it doesn't.
No, he eats a dozen eggs at a time. Constantly.
Yeah.
So,
like, and way quicker than most people can eat 3.
It's a disgusting sight. I'm not gonna lie. It's like disturbing.
Yeah.
Like, you look like fucking Kirby, and you just become like Eggman afterwards. But at the same time,
The body of Kirby.
you absorb the egg powers. You can hatch.
Oh, he does lay eggs.
No, that's Yoshi.
Oh, that's Yoshi. Yeah, I'm not good with that.
Yeah. It is
I like the ball busting, but it goes from rhetorical to like, I need answers. I need you to explain it right now.
people think you have like childhood trauma when
Yeah.
they watch you eat like that.
And I get that it's weird. I totally get that it's weird, and
It
I
is.
get combative too. Like I'm just as much to blame for like some of like the little back and forth banter, because I get like way on my side.
And there's a part of you that likes to dial up the energy.
100%.
Yeah.
That's what I die. That's what I do.
People will be like, why do you eat like that? And you'll be like, why does it matter?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
because I'm already on like a 9 on that subject.
It's like pushing that button. Like,
Yeah.
the button's already kind of stuck on.
Yeah.
So you hit it a little bit and you're just go.
I'd rather here's the one thing though. I would rather people say it because it's on their mind than not. Like that's how I know. Like that's how you know you have people that are cool with you when
Yeah.
they're totally open to scrutinizing like the most simple things about your shit. So the eating of the food and putting not a lot of stuff on it, I really think that it has to do with the fact I don't really mind it. I prefer it that way. And for whatever reason, it's painful for people to watch. And it's not just like 1 or 2 people, like a lot of people. Like it's something about watching somebody else eat something that you don't like or whatever that you're like, this should be hard for you. This should not be like good for you. Like you should want to die right now. I'm like, I like eating plain eggs, and they're just like, doesn't compute. Fuck you. What are you saying?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. That's not possible. Henceforth.
Yeah, and it's
There's
partly.
something wrong.
I think it's partly because, growing up doing like going to the gym with like my brother, like food. I'd say half the food that we ate wasn't because you're hungry. It was necessity because you were trying to gain weight and bulk up for fucking the gym, bro. Yeah. So it was almost like you didn't look as food as just like, oh, this delicious thing that gives me sustenance. This is a job.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be times when you don't want to fucking choke down
Yeah.
all this stuff, but you're going to have to. And also, if you just don't think about it, it's not that bad.
I've never had the problems you had. My big thing is I don't like anything on my hot dogs. I like plain hot dogs, and it bothers my brother. But we haven't gotten past the ball busting part. Like he's like, "Do you want any ketchup? No. Do you want any mustard? No. Do you want anything? No. You're fucking weird."
Yeah, but even
But I don't. I just like the fucking meat and the bun. That's
yeah,
it. That's all I
but
want.
that's for whatever reason it's with food, and especially like very common food.
Yeah.
Right. Like I used to not eat cheese on my burgers. I think it's because I never tried new things. But like I eat cheese on the burgers now, 100%. I prefer it with cheese now. But there was a long time I didn't. But here's the thing. And this is a really fucked up way of thinking about it, and I always bring it up, and people always get mad because it makes too much sense, but they don't want to admit that it makes too much sense. I always say, if you never had ice cream, would you ever miss it?
That's a good point. No, that is a very good point.
You'd never miss it because you
never miss
wouldn't
it.
know what it tasted like, right? So, and I'm not saying I never eat ice cream or I never do, but if I only eat certain foods and they're healthy or whatever, if I go to Outback Steakhouse, it's like a fucking 5-star meal to me. It's a 5-star meal. Wouldn't you like to just have anything be a 5-star meal?
Yeah.
If my mom cooks me breakfast, I'm like, that's the best fucking breakfast I've ever eaten in my life. Like when I go to Vermont, because she puts, Taylor ham and bacon and avocado and all this shit because she's a mom and she likes to cook for her kids.
Yeah.
But as opposed to being like, well, the eggs were a little runny and fucking Taylor ham was a little over or undercooked. Like everything tastes amazing to me.
It's like having having food for the first time every time.
Yeah, because I know real quick, and then we'll go on to the next one because it's just taking way too long. I know a guy who's really good at cooking.
Yeah,
really good at cooking. Really into making food, and his thing. Like everyone has their thing. Like some people like to go to the movies. Some people, his thing is going out to eat. Right? He likes going out and trying new things. I would say that like half the time he doesn't enjoy it.
Yeah, see, I can see that being a problem.
Because he's such a good cook and he knows the inner workings of it and all this stuff where he's so used to making things that are good. If he goes somewhere, a lot of it always tastes subpar to him.
Yeah.
And he gets like so many times he'll tell me stories like, yeah, I sent the food back because the waiter said this is undercooked. And I'm like, see, I don't have any of these problems.
Yeah.
I don't have any of these problems.
I'm the same way, not because like I enjoy eating subpar food like you do, no offense, but because
Ignorance is bliss here.
ignorance is bliss. But I'm at a point where like I don't really cook. So when I go home, it's just me. So there's no one making me food. So like I'll put together like the most random ass disgusting crap throw it on some bread, and be like, this is gonna keep me alive.
Yeah, you're like, do I really have time to heat up the can of soup, or do I just eat it out of the jar like dog food?
Like dog food.
Yeah.
No.
Also, too,
ain't nobody gets that.
another thing, I don't think people realize how much big people have to eat. All right,
Yeah, that's true.
you don't always have time to cook a fucking 6-course meal
He is a
3
big
times
boy.
a day. All right, just gonna put that there. You can buy a Subway sandwich and you can live off that for 3 days.
I can.
Yeah. If I get a Subway sandwich, I need to know what the next part of the meal is. Okay.
What are we eating later, guys?
So next,
All right, yeah. Video game updates. So this is Andy's topic, though. We talked about it a little bit ahead of time, and we got excited about it, so we realized we were going to talk about it on the podcast.
yeah. So the first topic was one that's a little hot button for me, and this one's a hot button for Tim.
It is.
And I have, I'm split between this.
I'm more split than I care to admit, but at the end of the day,
Excuse me.
I'm on the one side of it. So
Explain what we're talking about first of all.
So back in the day, when you bought a video game, and this is the old man in me, you young fucking whippersnappers.
You had to actually get a physical video game,
yeah,
a physical disc or cartridge.
You had to hold it. You got to read a little pamphlet as mom drove you home. You had to
was
fight
such a
with
cool
people
feeling,
to
dude.
get to the TV so you can actually play the goddamn game.
Such a good feeling.
Oh, such a good
Reading
feeling.
opening up the case and reading the pamphlet.
Oh, and you got to see all the cool shit that's actually going to be in the game, and like they give you little.
And the cool shit that was going to permanently be in the game.
And that's the topic. That games these days. Oh my god, I sound like an old fucking man. Holy shit. But games these days come out with updates and they change the game. And that bothers me way more than anything should. And it's one of the reasons I don't it's one of the reasons I don't fucking play video games anymore. Not like big ones, cuz like I'm not talking about like little changes like, "Oh, we fixed a glitch, so this won't
Yes.
break anymore." I'm talking like an Overwatch is a great example because I played that for a while. I played that for like a solid year. And they would just change characters and what they did. Like how they actually
Oh.
fucking like work. And like back in the day, if we were to play Mortal Kombat, we would have a rule, no Shadow Khan. Because he's fucking cheap and you can just do the goddamn uppercut until you win. And you just had to do it once. So you know what? You don't use him. You don't go back to the game developers and say, this isn't fair. I need him to change so I can play online with other people and Mountain Dew!
Technically,
Oh, I'm so heated right now.
everyone's ears just exploded when you slammed that table.
I don't care. They deserve it.
Technically, you did your own update.
What do you mean?
Technically, if you say no Shao Kahn, then you're doing your own update. You're taking away the
Okay,
uppercut
okay,
and you're
okay.
doing your own update. So instead of the computer basically making his uppercut not land 100%, you're just now not allowed to use the uppercut all the time. So you're kind of making your own update.
Yeah, but I like that way better.
Yes.
It's just, I know this is me just being reminiscent of the past and all that other bullshit, and it's probably for the better, blah, 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 blah. Go suck my dick.
Really angry about this.
I'm so angry about this.
I agree with you when you talk about how what the player or the character or the class is, because some people might like the new change or update, but the people that are attached to that might not.
Yeah.
Then you run into like, what are you going to do? You're going to have it the old and new version for every time you update. It's impossible to
No,
do that.
that's impossible.
So there's two trains of thought here that I see on the side of the fence. Like in the one side, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Right? Because when Warcraft came out, I used to play World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Nerd. But
We're fucking losers.
so I used to play that game, and it used to be like when you used to upgrade your guy, the tech tree and all that.
Yeah,
like it used to be really complicated. You get like 50 points, and you'd have to like put down like what you want and everything like that. And then I didn't play for a while. I came back, and they were like, "Yeah, like we it's still the tech tree, but it's like way more simplified now." And I'm like, they're kind of catering to like the quick time player thing, where it's like, hey, all this like long investment time, like we're getting rid of that. And you're like, all right. And then I quit again, and I came back a couple years after that, and it was like, there's no tech tree. You just pick 3 abilities that you want. Like out of these 3, what one do you want? Because it used to be like you could, all right, I want this ability, but then you could have put more points in that to make it more damaging.
Yeah.
This one is like you get to pick one of 3. So pick one of 3.
That bothers. What?
Yeah. and I get like the game's got to go forth and all that, but the part that I do agree with to some extent on newer games that you're playing, and this I think exclusively applies to only player versus player.
Okay.
So if you're playing PvE, if you're going against Bowser, like that's just how hard Bowser is.
Yeah.
You can beat him. It's been proven, but that's how hard he is. I don't think you should just make the game easier because for the sake of making the game easier. But when you're playing PvP, people find loopholes and glitches and shit like that. And going back to WoW, what they were doing was people were so obsessed with that game. They would find like the perfect class, and if as long as you use these spells in this order, you could do nothing against it with that kind of character.
Yeah.
So what they would do is every month or every 3 months, they would change the strength of the class level.
Just to kind of keep people on their toes a little bit.
Well, it was almost like you'd have like, all right, this month fucking a wizard would be like super OP. Like, just OP. And then everyone would get to play as the wizard OP for a month. And then the next month they're like, guess what? We redid the stats because people were complaining. Or maybe it's just time for another class to be OP.
Yeah.
And that way, like, you have a round robin of like big blind, little blind. Like, hey, sometimes I'm in charge, sometimes you're in charge. I like it for that.
Yeah, I do too. I think part of my problem is that I'm not a big online gamer. So
I like playing solo.
Yeah, me too. So like when people come out and they do the whole WoW is a great example. I'm not into WoW, but like I get it.
Yeah.
So if someone comes up and says, "Oh, this is the perfect tree to get your perfect cleric," well, that's not exactly how I want to play. Like I like if I'm doing these types of games, I kind of want to be a fucking. If I'm gonna be a nerd, I'm gonna go all out on nerd. I'm gonna fucking role play.
You want to figure it out on your own.
I want to figure it out on my own. And if I do something subpar, I don't want to be he's the subpar guy who sucks at everything. And I have to wait for class to change and whatnot. So
that was the whole.
That's part of my problem.
Yeah, that was the whole thing with those games. Like you play by yourself and you figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't like the whole like pay to play thing where you can buy stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the whole. Like, I think you should be. Well, no, you can't get two versions of it though. I think those days are dead, man.
I know.
Because they got to change shit so they can sell more shit.
Yes and no. So we had this conversation once upon a time, but like the days of like games staying static forever are probably done if they're online games. Because I think it's a necessity. As much as I like to bitch about it, it's probably like you're saying, it's a necessity for online games to keep things progressing. But there's like a newfound wave of like single player games.
Yeah.
Or like local games, I guess, that probably won't have. Well, no, not even then. Like fucking Smash Brothers. I don't have it, but like I know that they're already making like updates and changes to like nerf characters or like bump them up or stat changes. That shit bothers me.
Yeah.
It bothers me so much.
Yeah.
If I get a game, I want it to be that game. I don't want it to change.
Yeah,
I hate change.
Like we were saying before with the No Shang Tsung thing.
Yeah.
There is that weird. You're making your own update because you're like, oh, no one can be Kirby, because there's always that one dude that knows exactly how to play Kirby. I'm like, well, if he took the time and he played as that one character, he should be able to use that character. But you're making your own update.
You're making your own update.
Yeah.
But it's almost the same as like board games where like you make your own rules.
It is more fun that way because there's always that thing like, fine, you can be Kirby this time.
Yeah.
And then you get to like play as the cheat code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I just missed my childhood.
I think that might be it.
All right, so we know we're big nerds. If you're a big nerd, let us know what you think of these topics down below. If you're a big foodie, let us know what you think of these topics down below. I cut you off. Do you have anything else?
I just want to say that shout out to everyone who gives me shit for eating food. I love you all. Sincerely.
Yeah, there was no hate out there, guys, if you see this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, go to brodownpro.com for all your cool Brodown gear, and we will catch you guys next time.
Want some eggs?
No, I'm good. You want some ice cream?
No.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day.